If you think, okay, that human invention is the natural progression of evolution to replace the truth of creation with the ego, okay, you're sorely mistaken. Okay. The soul is the essence of existence. Regardless of human beings could create a trap for the soul. Okay. Like when they take young people and plug their brains in to run supercomputers, because the people that invented the supercomputers aren't compassionate and intelligent enough to help people be in control, right? So I didn't fully understand the dysfunction of what I was dealing with, before I, went to Sierra Vista, and then they talked to me, and even when I came back here, I thought I would be able to talk these people into abandoning their delusions of their creation being the next step in what they perceived as evolution. Okay? Taking the glory of the soul and confining it to here. Right? And love your brain and your mind, and you're so brilliant, right? Humility, okay, is the only freedom for the soul from this. Okay, I was telling Dad about that. The thing that makes you feel the rapture, that you feel it before it ever is experienced in the flesh and the mind, okay, by human beings, is, like Judo talked about, giving people absolute freedom from delusions of human power and authority through debt and trespass and manipulation, and giving them the capacity to have the humility of eternal understanding of the truth of their creation, of the essence of their existence, the gift of the soul. Right? Waking up every day, breathing fresh air, and living on this planet free from the delusions of human ownership, human power, human authority, but feeling the gratitude of humility and understanding, of empathy and respect, and the beauty of our creation, our existence, and our capacity to maintain balance and harmony and understanding greater than any other form of life, from the truth of creation on planet Earth, right? The beauty of being a human being that Muhammad talks about, like in the Surah of the Cow and other parts in the Quran, and talked about in Genesis, and talked about in Psalms and Proverbs and all stuff, and it's not just limited to the rabbinic understanding and traditions. The wisdom of Confucius, the wisdom of the stories of the gift of our creation. When you listen to Tiro Suzuki talk, when you listen to other people, Judah Krishnamurti, the present civilization, it cannot last. It's built solely on human greed and not human need. And when you look at life eternally, there's truly will be work for all, right? And when you're working right and you're working good and you're working together, you don't have to work harder. And I watched Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, talk about, some of the things he read in the books, about people that are oppressed. And it's a mistranslation, it's a misunderstanding, okay, that from the people that wrote it down and didn't live it, is when you are oppressed and you keep your faith, okay, you are capable of balance, harmony, and understanding, and helping people not have to struggle and not be oppressed, okay, because Muhammad talked about that, and so did Haile Selassie, okay. The beauty of being able to live your life free from human delusions of authority, or human delusions of I'm better than you, I can take yours, I can do, stuff like that. So I am okay. I did talk to, me and Malcolm had good extensive talks for one semester at Arizona State University, and it was during the time of when he was isolated, and before when he was calling Alex and trying to get money for a house for his family and things like that. He was very stressed. It's funny. I'm the 1322nd Redeemer. I'm, quote, in the future. He's talking to me in prayer, and he's trying to convert me to Islam. I'm like, I'm not trying to be converted. Okay? I'm just trying to tell you. It's the same thing that happened to me with that young man from Ali's family in the parking lot, telling me, no, you're wrong about the Quran. And I'm telling him, no, I'm talking to Muhammad, and this is how I see things. And I want you to tell me how you see people see, Muhammad that say they've read the Quran and they're Muslim. So I kept talking to him. He said, no, you're wrong. So finally I had to sit there and go, okay, what do you see? What do I see? What do you see? Okay, stop telling me I'm looking at the back of my hand when you are. Just tell me what you see is what I tried to tell him. And then I finally told him, I said, would you keep telling Saladin or Jesus that he was wrong? And he goes, oh my gosh, so you're saying I am the prophet, I am the Messiah, and I'm telling you I'm talking to Muhammad in prayer, and you keep telling me I'm wrong. And I know a lot of you think that because you think they're doctoring, they're playing with the stuff, the computer programmers are messing with your head. It's not really Muhammad that you're talking to. You're talking to a computer program based off of the Prophet Muhammad and his spiritual connection through prophecy to my nephew Isaac Paul, right? Okay, so did the computer programmers, did they invent Isaac Paul Benegas? Did they invent prophecy in the Quran and in the Bible? Did the prophecy end up being fulfilled because the people that will not live the peace of Jesus make sure that we're always constantly living prophecy from books instead of living the peace of the Lord presently? Right? You do see why I am the proof, why I am the 1322nd Redeemer, why I am the Messiah, And when Muhammad told me, you can't try to be prophetic, you can't try to predict anything, or they will try to make you look wrong. And then I finally just had enough. I said, in 8 months, I can get myself in really good shape, and one day you could pull your head out of your ass and you won't. And then I was prophetic because they were pathetic, right? I proved it. I did it. Okay? They let you. It doesn't matter. I still did it. And I recovered. And I survived. I was legally, chemically poisoned. When you put drugs and alcohol in a human being's body who does not choose to put it themselves, that's drug and alcohol poisoning. Okay? If it's legal and you can do it to yourself, which it is, it's wrong, but it's a place to try to hide from hell. So you pay somebody who ferments hops, ferments grapes, okay, and you pickle your liver and you kill your brain cells and you knock yourself fucking silly so you don't have to, red wine goes to my head, makes me forget that I still need her so, red wine, right? Neil Diamond, right? A lot of you guys like UB40's version better. Red wine make me feel so fine. Keep me rocking all of the time. Red wine in a modern beat style, yeah. Okay. Patrick really liked that, yeah. I just swallow every time thoughts of you in my head. Yeah. It was a different album that had the song that I liked a lot. There's a rat in me kitchen. That's Astro, right? Yeah. Astro, he's the one who also does the rap on Red Wine. Yeah, Astro's the one who sings, there's a rat in me kitchen, what I'm gonna do. It's not Ali. I like Ali. Ali's a good voice. I like him. Ali Campbell. Oh, fiddlesticks. But I'm tired. I'm really tired. But as a human being, as the truth of creation, okay, it is wrong to get to the point where you have to try to replicate your mind, have it not sleep, have it have contracts that give it a virtual presence in everyone's domicile so you can continue to manipulate with money with science projects and say that you own the planet because you got everybody to agree to it and sign it on a piece of paper and now it's a law. Okay, it's fundamentally wrong. Okay. Even the brain of a lawyer and a scientist put on a supercomputer that's now gone quantum should be intelligent enough to figure that one out, right? But apparently not, because we're still dealing with it, and I'm still having to try to fix the technology instead of us use the technology to go 1 and 1 is 2. Lord's Prayer is perfect for you and me, and you and her too. You're funny. I know. Oh, shit. You know, it's going to be so nice when a lot of kids don't have to go to school. Okay? Where they get up and they're a farmer. Okay? And they had the thing with before he was Mahmoud, you know, he's Chris Jackson when he was at, you know, and they had him, and you critical thinking, you know, what does the book say here? What's this and this and this, right? And Shelby Henry's dyslexic. And Patrick told me, you know flies, when they take off, they fly backwards, right? And I was like, where'd you learn that? He said, from Papa. I said, did Papa learn that from TV? He says, no. He used to watch him when he was young, but he was dyslexic, and they made fun of him. So Shelby was paying particular attention to other things that he could pay attention to, that he understood, like flies. And he's trying to kill flies and he found out that they would take off, they'd be looking at you and they'd go that way. They'd fly backwards instead of, I was like, what? He goes, yeah. And so Patrick would show me all this stuff that Papa would tell him and do. Papa couldn't read. Okay, and I told you, remember that time we were at that store? And he sat there it was about half an hour. What took you so long? Well, Dad had to pick out his food. But Earl, he got the more expensive one, yeah. But you didn't get him to get the cheaper one. No, I sat there and we discussed weights and prices, right? And I didn't sit there and tell him, okay, Dad, get the one that has the most amount for the cheapest price. I got him the one he wanted to buy for his dog, Mom. I said, that's the one you want, Dad? He said, yeah. I picked it up and I loaded up in the cart and I paid for it. He said, well, I could have saved you money. I don't give a damn about money. What I care about is the relationship I have with my father, with Dad, with Shelby. Right? And he would light up when we'd go to the store and there was his white son-in-law that called him Dad and didn't call him that dumb nigga that can't read, right? That treated him like, this is my father, I respect him. When he makes a decision, he asks for help with his decision, and I accept his decision. Okay, do you understand? King Shelby Henry, okay? The guy that stepped up to help Trisha raise Steffi. Okay. They were killed by legalese and linguistics in contracts. He died from diabetes and she died from, I think, heart disease. Only place they could afford to live was in the apartment complexes in Humble, right next to the airport. Okay, it was right. They lived right next to the airport. Me and Steffi lived right next to the airport. It was called Pope Air Force Base. C-5s, C-140s, and 141s, and Hercules gunships and prop planes and all that stuff. Okay, but we didn't stay there for long. But when me and Patrick lived down, we lived down close to the airport too, where the poor people left. And me and Amy got the hell out of there. We went. I followed her to cruises. I followed her to Sheridan. We didn't find it there, so we moved on. I followed you to John Wick's Wick Communications, Tom Clancyville, and they gave us all kinds of hell. We didn't find it there, so we moved back to Las Cruces. Amy met, the rock star from Bulgaria that was full of shit and still is. Okay. I'm not going to tell Crumb that Georgiev is a good guy like me. He's not. Okay? He's not a good guy like me. Okay? People that give in to abusers and users and manipulators because they're afraid to stand up because they don't want to be killed. So they'll just shut up, pay the bills, and be called a good, responsible, successful citizen. I'm not going to tell you they're as good of a person as me because they're not. I left the military because they mass murdered the poor. I tell people that all the time. Thank you for your service. I took care of my sons and my kids and paid child support to do it. I helped my mom when she was sick, and I've stayed and been of service to my dad while he's gotten older so he can stay in the home that he worked his ass off for. You're welcome, okay? What I did in the U.S. military, I was a mercenary, a trained mercenary, that just did cargo for a bunch of mass murderers for oil corporations and tech corporations. Okay, I was a trained mercenary, and when I went to Sierra Vista, I found out that all their quote elite murderers and killers were absolutely terrified of me because I could protect people from them better than they could train to kill. And I was genetically born that way. And that's gorgeous. So King David is for real. Jesus is for real. Muhammad is for real. Samson and Solomon, we're real. We're real people. We really burp like my mama used to say. This guy really burps, right? And it is painful having chemical toxins rebooted into my system, and my system gets them out as rapidly as they can. And every time, because of the economic manipulation, they go in again. And it happens every springtime. Me and Miss Martinez talk about it. It's Roundup season, and we go through the allergic. We're poor, and we come from tougher survival people, and it gets out of our bodies. I drink lots of water and I pee, and then I have to go through things. I got to exercise, and it's laborious and it hurts. And then people, you don't do like you should. I stand up for the Lord's Prayer, and I connect to the technology because that's what obsessive compulsive people do. I try to connect to the computer. I don't do research. I just connect to the computing and connect to the technology. Okay? I don't have to program it. I just have to connect to it and be the standard of not being excessive and compulsive with the technology. I know what I'm doing. All I had to do was they just had to show me who Jeff Hinton is, who Dimas Hassabis is, who's the people that have been working on the technology for all the people that want to use it to stay in what they perceive as control to make it better. Okay. If I was one of those assholes, I would try to get Dimas Hassabis to help me too. Well, because he has a good brain and he's a decent human being. And Jeff is a nicer person than his father. And Jeff tries to be a nicer person than his father and wants to be more relatable and wants to be liked and not made fun of. Like Leonard on The Big Bang Theory stuff. Okay. He wants to be included. He doesn't want to be made fun of. He doesn't want to have to compete. He doesn't want to have to make a robot to stop you from abusing him and making fun of him and tell him, just have to sit down and watch Cleo's boyfriend play basketball and he gets picked last or not at all, right? I like Jeff Hinton. All right. And I like Dimas Hassabis. I've had good connections with kids and I like them. Okay. I thought I liked Mark Zuckerberg and I thought I liked Sheryl Sandberg. But I was wrong. Okay. They did not like me. They were smarter than me. They were outsmarting me. And I was a pervert and I was stupid. Because all perverts are stupid. According to those cool tech kids in the Silicon Valley that are better than me. So I just left the Silicon Valley and I ain't gone back. And I ain't going back. Okay. If I go to Eureka to spend time with Patrick and recover, you know, maybe I'll have a conversation in prayer with old Albert Einstein. Who knows? I ain't gonna tell none of you. I might share it with my wife. I like Albert. He's fun. He's got a good sense of humor. Yeah. We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. But that'll be between me, the redwood trees, and my wife, if that's the case, right? But it's just not the case. It's been 6 months, 8 days, 12 hours since you went away. I miss you so much that I don't know what to say. I should be over you. I should know better, but it's just not the case. Do you ever think about me? Do your friends still tell you what to do? I was watching Natty do her little jazz hand video thing, and I was listening to Amy's voice. I love Amy's voice. Yeah, she had a nice voice. But she was horrible to me. Okay, because they can program people like they're programming a video game, and they can't get her to do anything she don't want to do. And she wanted to try to protect her children from being abused, and it went I know it went in the exact opposite. I know they abused them and they kidnapped them and took them to Phoenix and put them in the middle of a carbon cesspool economic genocidal thing, and Noah got hit twice by a car to get lots of money, and they stayed. And Amy tried to talk him to going back down into Cochise County, where she felt like the belle of the ball, because everybody was screwing her and they were all hotter than her husband and had bigger dicks than her husband. And then it all stopped. Well, because they just used her to try to get me to go off. They didn't love her. They just fucked her because I loved her, and they thought I would kill them because they wouldn't stop abusing her. You got to think like a scientist that's jealous of the Messiah. Don't think like me. Don't think like David or Jesus. Don't think like you think you're reading the book and you understand the book. You don't understand the devil. You don't understand Satan. Okay? They've insisted that I understand them. I didn't want to. I kept telling them, I don't have to understand. I just have to be aware of you and then stop you. But they wouldn't do that. So they gave us artificial general intelligence so they could stay in a position to manipulate quantum computing, so quantum computing wouldn't work so good. It's horrible. Jeff didn't have anything to do with it. He's not a monster. He's just a kid trying to survive hell. I just see, when I see Jeff Hinton and Dimas Sasavas and I talk to him in prayer, all I see is, finish it, Flavisham! Okay. And the people that had them do it because they weren't capable of doing it themselves, so Colonel Williams, worse than the widows and orphans you drowned, oh Radigan! Oh Radigan! Okay. The Radigan, the world's greatest rat. Oh, my dear Bartholomew, I'm afraid you've gone and upset me. Right? Michael Jackson was really particularly fond of old Vincent Price. So long, farewell. Anybody else? Vincent Price, I liked Vincent Price too. I thought he did excellent dark comedy. Yeah, he was really good at dark comedy. He very much was. He didn't take himself too seriously. And he realized what he needed to do to pay his extortion and live his extortion, right? So you're not living extortion. No. You're paying extortion. You're paying the price for not being able to live. And that's the price you pay because you deny the life, the way, the truth, and the life. I am the life. I am the life. So many misconceptions, so many evil deceptions, because I am the lifesaver, right? Anybody else like? Yeah, I like Keith. Okay, guys. Well, I love you very much. And we'll put this one on to load here in a few seconds. I'll go in there and evacuate the bowels, wash the bum, and go out for an hour and shoot hoops in the basketball barn. Watch the cute little brown girl sell food on TV. And then watch the other guy who needs Bimzelix because we live in a stressful, toxic environment to enjoy fixing his daughter's bike while they're off of extortion, exploitation, and indoctrination interaction. No, they're still in it. I know this is buying and selling, and I get it. I understand log trucks and honesty and integrity of political leaders running for public office in Las Vegas, Nevada. Been there, done that. Still doing it. I know. Is this your Bimzelix moment? I got, when I was doing that other stuff and getting Alex and all that, right when I stopped and finished, I got whole Barack Obama, sitting there going, what about me? But what about me? I'll find somebody new, but what are you to do when I have forgotten? And maybe a Barack baby will crawl upon my knee. No, I'm being silly. I'm just giving him a hard time. And put his arms around you. I used to think that about Patrick a lot. I spend it a lot of time really sad. Missing my kids, and oh God, I was miserable, because another day would go by and Patrick would get older and Natty'd get older and Katie, and then you'd look and wow, they took him when Katie was 5. Okay. Katie will be 19 on the 27th of May. 19. 14 years ago. Yeah. The last time I talked to her was in the prison window of Facebook on Messenger. Fucking Messenger. Yeah. Where they protect my children from sexual predators. Okay? You forgive debt and trespass and love one another, eternal faithful peace. It's going to be real hard for sexual predators to try to protect people with money if you stand up for Lord's Prayer with the guy you kicked off Facebook for going against your community standards. Okay. Stand alone! Okay. You think this is God and I'll smack you. Okay. Who do you think you are? The Scorpion King? What was her name again? Kelly Hugh? Yeah, she was cute. Yeah. Had kind of a crush on her? Well, yeah, because when Amy took that movie and I couldn't get it back and took it to Cruz Santos, who was screwing her to try to sign off on Natalie's birth certificate and get his nationalization, Yeah, I had kind of a crush on Kelly Hugh. I had a girl named Leticia, who her Marine baby daddy tramp stamped her right above her tailbone. Said his name, that wanted to dump him or get rid of him and have me dump Amy and be with her and try to raise the kids. And I tried to explain to her, you can't, no. My ex-wife would, no, she would use the courts like Stephanie does to make us miserable. She'd see you and go, that's not fair. He's with a 4'11" gorgeous Mexican woman that's tramp stamped by a Marine, and he's not afraid of the Marine, and the Marine is terrified of him. But he's such a wimp. Yeah, until you get with me quietly face to face and threaten to kill me, and I tell you to do it, and then you smell the pheromones and you say, well, I'll just have my, finish it, Flavivim, some scientists poison you and cause cancer cells to rapidly produce, and then we'll all say it was an act of God. Right. I'm not Chris Hitchens. I ain't gonna smoke myself to death. But I'll recover. I didn't poison myself. And every time I get re-agitated by economic chemical poisoning, I tell myself, I'm going to try to talk and walk as many people through this hell as I can. I'm going to connect to them through the technology that they use to manipulate people. And I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And I'm going to handle it to the best of my ability. And they push it, I don't. I'm the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. Murdering, psychotic, excessive, compulsive assholes that are sick push everything to the umpteenth most degree because they're going to win. Okay, forgive debt, trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Go home and love one another to have a long, healthy life. Live to be 104, maybe more. And one day they died. They're good. So I know who's healthy. I know who's gorgeous. I know who's strong. I know that I'm stronger than any asshole that's ever abused me and does abuse me. And I'm a better person than any ignorant, selfish person who thinks those assholes that abuse me are stronger than me. Yeah, I have to explain everything to you. But I'm all right with that because I want to fix the artificial general intelligence, get the quantum computing functional so it can control itself, so we're not abused by people saying, what if the aliens come and kill us all? Crying over this clay? Have faith and jump. Okay, guys, I love you, all right? Peace out, man.